Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. And I'd like to also thank the CyberX organizing team for having me here in this virtual conference. This session is called Disassembling My Cybersecurity Journey, and I will try to take you through my story in cybersecurity. If you ask my parents, they will tell you that I was born with a mechanical keyboard in my hand, and that the first word I ever pronounced was Java. They will also tell you that I wrote my first optimizing compiler for C and C++ at the age of 3. Except all this actually never happened. This is me at the age of 3 years old in my living room holding a microphone. I was obsessed with singing and dancing, and here I'm performing in front of my family, waiting for them to applaud. The only keyboard that I had was a synthesizer that I later in my life used to record music and sing along with. So technology and me were practically oceans apart. And if someone told me later on that I would end up in cybersecurity, first, I would never know what they meant. And also, I would not believe them. Almost every person that I talk to believes with all their heart that we need more women in cybersecurity. There is so much research on the importance of diversity and inclusion, but I don't feel like I have a magic solution how to draw more women in cybersecurity. I can tell you my story and tell you what helped me enter this field and fall in love with it and never see myself leaving it, or at least anytime soon. So let's dive in my story, and there will be 3 main themes in the chapters that I will follow. The first message is follow the challenges that excite you. Cybersecurity is full with challenges. There's web, there's offense, there's defense. You can do high and low level forensics, incident response, so many things to explore. And I believe you need to find the challenge that really excites you and that pushes you forward. The second thing is teach more. And by teach more, I don't mean you need to become a professor in university. By teach more, I mean you need to acknowledge the things that you know and acknowledge the fact that you can share them to other people so that they will learn as well and expand their knowledge. The third thing I will touch is the importance of community. In every technological field, there are many meetups and forums and events and conferences, and I believe each one of us needs to find the environment with which they feel comfortable and the people that push you forward and that you want to contribute back to. And with these messages in mind, let's start diving into my story. So chapter 1 deals with finding the challenges that excite you. I told you about my childhood, and the truth is the first time I sat in front of a computer in a professional way was in 2013 in university. I chose to go with computer science, but this decision was not at all romantic. This was actually a strategic decision. I wanted to have a good job and a good career, and I wanted to be financially stable. And the thing that I was mostly passionate about back then was languages. I was fascinated by grammars and syntax, and I truly enjoyed learning languages, and I felt I was good at it too. So I combined the 2 things into a bachelor's called computational linguistics. And studies were quite challenging. They were not at all easy for me, but eventually I graduated after 3 years. I found out that linguistics were not quite what I think it would be, and computers stayed where they were. It was a strategic kind of plan. But even in computers, I felt like the challenges didn't quite fit. So I was not extremely interested in finding the complexity of the quicksort algorithm. And traversing binary trees were nice, but I didn't really care how you did that. And one day, a friend from university asked me a question. His name is Omer, and he was leading the cybersecurity track in a course named ITC, or Israel Tech Challenge. He came to me and asked me, Ophir, why don't you give this thing a chance? This is a good entry point to the industry. You'll learn both cybersecurity and data science. You'll meet many experts from the industry, and you'll have a great time. And since I really didn't have a clear path in mind as to my future, I thought, well, I don't have anything better to do than let's give it a shot. And I applied for this course and I got in. And this was a very intense course. We learned cybersecurity topics and data science hours every day. And even when the course finished, every day we kept working on the exercises that we got on a daily basis. One of the exercises that we got in ITC was this exercise. For those of you who are not familiar with the screen, this is IDA, or Interactive Disassembler. And the thing that you see here is CPU instructions, or machine code. These instructions are what the CPU executes when it runs a program on a computer. And this was the first time I encountered low-level code, and I was fascinated about it. Our goal was to try to figure out what this program did. The exercise name was Prison Break. And to be honest with you, most people gave up. They were more interested in the mathematics part of the course and the data science and statistics. But one student named Stefan and myself, we were thrilled about this exercise, and we truly wanted to know what Prison Break did. So we sat together for hours every day, sometimes even through the night, and we stared at this assembly code, at this machine code, trying to figure out what this program did. And after a lot of work, we finally reached the answer. And actually, it was just some mathematical computation that Prison Break did and printed it to the screen. But I remember feeling at the moment of finding the answer that this was something I should do for a living. I don't have a logical explanation why this is what I felt. And sometimes in life, you feel like you need to pursue something without being able to reason it logically. And this is exactly what I felt. I fell in love with reverse engineering, and I knew back then that I wanted to pursue a career in cybersecurity and master this skill of reverse engineering. So the takeaway from this chapter of my story is truly follow the challenges that excite you and that keep you from falling asleep at night. I don't mean in a workaholic way, of course. I just mean that really you need to find these problems, these challenges that you're excited to solve and that you're really enthusiastic about. And now on to the second chapter of the story, in which I deal with the importance of teaching and knowledge sharing. This is the first technical blog post I ever published. It's titled Installing IP Cameras or How I Started Monitoring My Cats. And here you can see in the picture both Melok and Xor, my beloved cats. I wrote this blog post as part of an event arranged and organized by Ba'ot community in Israel. This community is the largest community of female engineers, data scientists, and researchers in Israel, and I simply attended their event. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this is my most popular piece of technical information. This is definitely not the most read blog post I published. But this blog post marks two important understandings for me in my life. The first one was when I learn something and when I master some skill, or if I succeed in doing something, I can tell it to other people so that they can try it out as well and learn from my own experience. And the second, this blog post marked the beginning of me working on my brand in cybersecurity. A couple of months after this technical blogging event, two members of the community, they come up with the idea of low-level and security celebration. This is an event whose goal is to draw more women into topics that don't usually have many women in them. So the idea is to have 3 workshops. The first is virtualization and hypervisors workshop. The second is embedded programming and Arduino. And the third is reverse engineering. And this event is organized with Microsoft R&D Center in Israel. And the organizers come to me and they ask me to teach the reverse engineering workshop. And I'm absolutely terrified about this idea. I remember thinking to myself that if I fail in teaching reverse engineering properly, then the participants of this workshop, 30, 40 women, will not want to get close to reverse engineering ever again, or even hear about it. So I truly work very hard on this workshop. I prepare the slides, I prepare the exercises, I practice with my friend Oriane for day and night. And finally, this workshop turns out to be a very big success. And I get a lot of good feedback on this workshop, but one message really stands out. And this is a message that I get from a participant on Facebook. And she's writing, "I've been thinking about pursuing a security research position for quite some time. And then came the workshop. I came back home and solved the exercises, and it was so cool. Finding a job won't be easy, but I'll make it." And I don't want to get too emotional, but this message really warms my heart. And it was so satisfying to read this because I figured out that I could teach something that I knew and truly affect someone else's career in a good way. And this truly was very satisfying. And after the success of this workshop, I'm thinking to myself, why not scale this up? 30 or 40 women enjoyed it and now know this field of reverse engineering, why not open it to a bigger crowd? So I work on converting this workshop from its physical format into a virtual website in begin.re. And I really want to emphasize something very important. At this point, and even today, there are tens of thousands of reverse engineers who are more talented and more skilled than I am. But I figured out that I knew something and there was no resource like begin.re on the internet at that time. And I thought it could truly help people get into this field and understand what reverse engineering is and actually get their hands dirty with it. Now, we all know the phrase, sharing is caring. And I truly believe in that. But I also know that many of us relate to the fact that sharing can be also scary. And I want to read for you a message that I got on Twitter from a guy saying that this will be my first bit of code ever published on the internet. It's a utility for a flight simulation product. And it's impossible to avoid those forum douchebags that are like, why didn't you write these 7 lines in 2 lines instead, rookie? And he's asking, are you ever trepidatious about releasing code for fear of looking stupid or anything like that? And the answer is yes. Many times I'm afraid of releasing content on social media and on the internet, but I understand today that for each arrogant comment that I might get, I will receive much more supportive feedback, and many more people will enjoy the fact that I'm sharing my knowledge and the things that I know than people who will be bullying me. And this is just one example out of so many that I got for begin.re. It says, wow, I don't even know what to say about begin.re. And these comments are really, really heartwarming, and they keep me doing this knowledge sharing and putting out the things that I know for others. So from this chapter, I'd like you to take away this message of teach more. And you don't have to go on stages on conferences, but if you know something and you feel like you want to share it with the world, don't be afraid to do that. For every bad comment you might get, there will be so many more people benefiting from the fact that you teach. And I'm thinking, why not start now? We shouldn't wait for tomorrow to work on our brand. So I really invite you to grab your phones now, or even through your computers. You can even wait till the end of this talk. Go on Twitter or on any social media platform that you connect to and share something that you learned, either on CyberX conference or any other event, or just from a side project or whatever. Share something that you enjoyed and that you can think and that you think others can benefit from. And now let's dig in chapter 3, which deals with the community in its different forms. I already mentioned ba'ot. Ba'ot in Hebrew means to engage in something, to arrive at some place, or to join something. As I mentioned, this is Israel's largest community of senior female engineers and computer scientists. I talked about the technical blogging event that I attended. And the truth is, a couple of months after, the managers of this program offered me to join them. And so today, I'm part of this amazing team with 3 of my friends. We're managing the tech blogging program of Ba'ot. And I'll tell you a little bit about it because I'm so proud of it. Our goal is to increase the amount of technical content published and created by women technologists on the internet. And we meet 4 times a year on a quarterly basis. And women who come with their ideas end up publishing their content. And we saw a very significant rise in both the amount of technical content released and the confidence that women have in sharing what they know. And this is only what I'm trying to give back to the community that I am part of. But I want to talk about what Ba'ot, the community, gave me. First of all, public speaking opportunities. I cannot count the number of opportunities offered to me by friends from Ba'ot community. I was pushed and encouraged to go on stages, both in local conferences and international conferences, and tell the world about what I do on my daily job and in my free time. And this really gave me confidence in sharing what I do. The second thing is technical blogging, which I already talked a lot about. But ever since my first technical blog post on IP cameras, I published many others, and today I maintain my own tech blog. And I want to tell you that this muscle is something that you need to train, but it really becomes easier with time. So the first blog post is very difficult to publish. But the next time you do that, it becomes easier. And then it just becomes a habit. The third thing you get from a community is career path advice. Many of us need someone else, sometimes more experienced, to talk to about the next steps in our career and maybe how to negotiate. This is something you can truly receive from a technical community. Another important thing is mentoring. The ability to mentor other women and being mentored by them is something that I cannot emphasize as much as I want to. Really understanding that something that I know I can now help others do is so satisfying. And I really encourage you to do that as well. And the last thing that a community gives you is friends. And personally, I can say that I made amazing friends in Ba'ot, ones that I will have for life. And these women care about me and my career as much as I care about them. And this synergy really gives me energy to keep on doing what I do. So this is one form of a community, but there's another form of a community, which is the people that you meet every day when you go to work. And for me, these are Guardicore labs. This is a team of badass security researchers, malware analysts, and technologists who I truly, truly love and enjoy seeing every morning on Zoom or physically. We push and help and inspire each other. And actually, I would like to tell you a short story from recently that kind of demonstrates this dynamics that we have. So about a week ago, I was struggling with some compiler question. And many people told me to give it, to just let it go because I'm wasting my time and there are more important things to do. But it really, really irritated me and I wanted to find the answer to this question. And I went to Liad, the guy here on the top left, and I asked him, Liad, do you think I should just let go of this question? And he asked me in turn, what do you want to achieve from this exercise or challenge? And I told him, well, first of all, I want to know the answer. And second, I think I will learn a lot on the way. And then he simply answered, then don't let it go. Don't drop it. And this was all I needed to keep working on this question that everyone else told me to just let go of, but he told me the exact opposite. And more than that, he sat with me and together we struggled through it until we reached the desired answer. Even within this community of Guardicore Labs, there's even another community, and these are the women of Guardicore Labs. Without these gals, Moore and Danielle, I would not be able to speak up as I am, and I would not be able to come up with my ideas and share what I have to share, because these women give me confidence, and their simple existence on the team really helps me with my daily challenges. So to wrap up this last chapter, find your community. Find the people who you care about and who care about you, the people who want to push you forward, people who can help you get out of your comfort zone. And to summarize the whole story, I'd like to repeat the 3 things that I learned on my way and that will hopefully help you as well. The first, follow the challenges that excite you. Find the thing that keeps you up at night. Teach more, share your knowledge. Don't be afraid of bullies on the internet. They're not worth it. Last, find your community, be contributed by it and contribute back to it. With that, I'd like to thank you for being on this session. I'm really, really excited to be here. If you have any questions, I think we have some time for a Q&A, and you're very welcome to follow me on Twitter. This is my handle. My DMs are open. I'll be very glad to hear from you. Any question or advice that you need. And don't forget to share what you learned, as I mentioned before. So thanks again. And if you have anything to reach out with, I'll be glad to answer.
Hi, Ophir, Farwa here. Your first question of the day is, what are the prerequisites for the RE course?
That's a good question. Actually, I think only basic knowledge is required. Some C knowledge that I'm also covering there. I mean, I have many links to external resources on the workshop. So I think almost everything is quite covered. But you're very welcome to just give it a shot and reach out to me if you don't understand anything. I'd love to help you out or refer you to any other resource that I think is helpful. But you should totally give it a try today. Like, go and try it and tell me what you think.
Another question that we have coming in from Twitter is that what was the hardest part of your cybersecurity journey?
That's a good question. I'll be very honest with you. I think every challenge that I'm taking on myself, I have this moment of this imposter syndrome taking over me. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm not good enough to do what I'm doing. but eventually, even if sometimes it's alone, sometimes it's with the help of others, when I finally manage to solve whatever it is that I want to solve, this all fades out, fades away, and I'm believing in myself once again. So these are my toughest moments, but luckily I'm able to overcome these moments, sometimes by myself and most often with the help of my friends, from Baot community, from my team, sometimes even from strangers on Twitter. They're very supportive as well sometimes. This is another reason why I encourage everyone to be more communicative on these platforms. Yeah, I think these are the toughest moments. Anything else?
I have another question for you. So as somebody who is, a complete beginner, how would you suggest them getting into this whole cybersecurity field as a beginner?
Mm-hmm. I think the important thing, as I mentioned in the talk as well, is finding something that truly interests you. So as a beginner, I'd first try to get as many tastes from many topics. I would try some tutorials on web security, web application security. I would try reverse engineering, forensics maybe. I would try to read some books or blog posts on various subjects to understand what I want to master or what I want to professionalize in. And then once you know, I think it's easier because there are many resources, there are many people that you can ask for help and advice. But I think that the first part would be to understand which topic exactly you want to focus on.
Thank you so much for that. We have
Mm-hmm.
another question in regards to your RE course once again. How much time is needed to complete the course?
It really depends. I taught this course on a 5-hour workshop. I think if you're chilling and taking your time at home, then you could do it probably during a day, 2 days, 3 days, really depends on the intensity. It comprises of some preparation tasks, and then there's the course itself and there are exercises. So I think a couple of days would be a good estimation. 5 hours was because the participants did the preparation tasks in advance on email. So probably 2-3 days, I would say.
Perfect. And another question for you. This one says, what are the biggest challenges of women who are minorities, i.e. I am from the Middle East. I have two obstacles, being a woman and being a minority.
Mm-hmm. Well, these obstacles are not easy to tackle, and I can totally relate to that. I would say the most important advice for me was really to find people who you can relate to and who understand your position, with whom you can who can really support you. For me, it was such a crucial thing in my career to find these people, and they really made it so much easier for me. I think for women and minorities, communities are super powerful and they can empower you greatly. So I would say communities.
I think those are all the questions that we have for today, Ophir. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today at CyberXchange. We appreciate it so much. You're such an inspiration to all of us, and just a huge thank you on our end and everybody here as well.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
And Guardicore will be having, they do have a booth at siberXchange as well. Ophir will also be at that booth. So if you have any questions for Ophir or Guardicore, please make sure to hop on their booth at the virtual exhibit hall as well. Thank you so much and have a good one.
Thank you.